The tradition of smelling and tasting things from patients in medicine is extremely old. So the technical name for diabetes is diabetes mellitus. And mellitus means, I think, honey tasting. Because the original way to diagnose diabetes is your pee tastes like honey and your breath tastes or smells sweet. And so this tradition of using a really sensitive sensor between our eyes, our nose, to tell something about what's going on inside of a person's body is a very, very old tradition. And we've largely ignored it in modern medicine. I mean, we've got really great diagnostic tools that use vision and that use hearing or ultrasound as an extension.
This could be a really simple, non-invasive way to actually do diagnostics.
And we know that it will work. If we can build it, it will work, because there's a whole slew of papers out there, each with their own little flaws, but together I think amount to very convincing and persuasive evidence that COVID-19 is smellable. There's a recent article out actually showing that bees can be trained to smell COVID-19. Dogs can smell COVID-19. Dogs can smell Parkinson's disease. So can people. Actually, there's a story of a woman, I believe from Ireland. I'm not going to get it right. It's either Ireland or the UK. And she was able to smell Parkinson's disease, and some researchers put it to the test. And they said, hey, here's T-shirts from 10 men that either have or don't have Parkinson's disease.
So this was just some woman walking around claiming that she could detect Parkinson's with her nose.
She claimed it because she could smell it on her husband. And then I believe, we should check the story, but I believe her husband then got Parkinson's. And so she could smell it on him. So she did this test, and she was given something like 10 T-shirts. And she said Parkinson's, no Parkinson's for all 10 of them. And the researchers graded her. And it turns out she got about 90% of it right, 9 out of 10. And she said, I don't think I got just 9 out of 10 right. I think I got all of them right. They said, no, actually, this person doesn't have Parkinson's. You said that they do.
Oh, wow.
They followed up. That guy got Parkinson's.
Oh, wow. So she was able to detect it before the doctors could.
Yeah. Wow. And so there was actually follow-up studies. I've got to go get these papers because I was actually talking about this earlier today. And they actually tracked down what it was that she was smelling. It turns out there's this waxy substance your skin secretes called sebum, and it's secreted on different parts of your body, but it's secreted on your back as well. And inside of the sebum is a molecule that seems to be more prevalent in people that have or are developing Parkinson's disease. And they believe, based on that study, that that's what she was actually detecting. That's just one molecule of kind of a bouquet. And so it might be that you need all of these different molecules at different ratios in order to diagnose a disease. But I think that that's the promise, is catching diseases early. I mean, I have a personal motivation. My father passed away from brain cancer when I was 25. And we didn't catch it until he was having seizures. And then he got an MRI, and there was a tumor in his motor cortex the size of a golf ball. And based on those growth rates, we maybe had months, perhaps a year or more of time when we could have been intervening to slow the cancer, give him more time, or to treat it outright. But in the first place, it's difficult to treat that specific kind of cancer because it's difficult to catch it early. And you get in this catch-22 of like, well, how can you, like for Alzheimer's, how can you treat a disease when you don't know they have it until they're too far gone? And so I think that's also part of the promise of building better diagnostics using smell, is we know that people smell differently in different disease states. You know, our mouths and our skin are kind of like the exhaust pipes for a car. You know, what's coming out of it doesn't tell us everything of what's happening in the engine, but it certainly tells us something.